Okay, we've got Stewart Matthews with us. Stewart's running in the runoff now for County Court at Law, Place 3. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you for making time on a Saturday morning.
And I'd like to just jump right into this. We only have a few minutes to get through 4 questions. My first question is going to be pretty basic, and that is to give you an opportunity to tell the voters why they should vote for you.
It's pretty simple. When I looked at running in this race, I looked at the people that had come into it, and I saw that every candidate has the experience in the race. I've got experience in what this court's going to hear. It's going to hear misdemeanor criminal cases. It's going to hear civil cases up to $100,000, and I've got the experience in those. What I think is often lacking for a judge that goes on the bench is what I would consider real-world experience. Before I ever entered law school, I helped develop and run a business for over a decade outside the legal arena. And I think that's a unique perspective that a judge can bring to the bench and can understand when the person walks in the courtroom. He's going to be able to relate to that person on a real-world level. And I think that's important in the sense that not only do I have the legal experience for the bench, and I can bring that perspective, but I have real-world perspective for the bench in the sense that I can understand that person outside just the legalese, if you will.
Thank you very much. My second question's got to do with the administration of the courts and how we go about things. As you know, Collin County, the state of Texas, and just about every jurisdiction is really scrambling to find ways to save money in this economy. I know the legislature will be taking up some looking at ideas of how to reduce the prison populations, and one of the things they're going to be looking at, and it seems to be the thing that's in vogue right now, is the creation of specialty courts, which for specific classes of crime or specific classes of individuals. And I guess the theory being that these courts can more relate to the individual and offer a wider range of alternatives and hopefully reduce rearrests or recidivism. What are your thoughts on the creation of more specialty courts in Collin County? I believe we already have at least one, the DWI court, and I guess the juvenile court could be considered one too.
I think we need to look and see how those are being done. Those are being run by people that truly love to have that idea. And so that makes them successful. When somebody behind the idea of running a specialty court is truly involved in it, it becomes a success. And I think we need to look at how that's done and implement the good features of it. We need to be careful of not just having specialty courts to make people numbers, to try to get the numbers through. In other words, it's a DWI court, so let's get all the DWIs in there and just get them through the process. No, this is actually, the Collin County Court of Law, especially because it handles misdemeanors, is a chance to be a stopgap measure. A lot of times it's people that have their first skirmish with the law, or maybe they're on a path of where they're not following the law, or they just had a lack of judgment, and we need to make sure those people don't return. We do have the opportunity then to get them into some kind of treatment programs, some type of program to help them develop a better sense of themselves, be it getting their GED or getting some kind of job training. And I think a specialty court could actually open that avenue up and really have those available. But I think it could also be available in the general courts. I think we could utilize it more now, just in our general courts. So I think we need to look and see how successful they are and how well they will be received by the people of Collin County and by those that are involved in the courts.
Thank you very much. My next question's got to do with the questionnaire that that the Observer sent you a few months ago. It seems like it was a long time ago, I guess, while you're campaigning. And I asked you a question that says, do you believe that our system of partisan election of trial judges should be continued? And you answered yes. And you said that I think the telling statement you made is the process for learning about an individual, I assume a candidate, is short enough. And when based on partisanship, the voters have at least a basic understanding of where the candidate stands on the core issues. Well, you've gotten your opportunity to dip your toes into the world of partisan politics. Based on the last few months of experience, has that experience reinforced your belief? Has it changed it? Talk about partisan election of judges.
I still think it's important to have a partisan election of judges, mainly because it still is a short amount of time. If this was a year of vetting a candidate out, maybe people would have a chance to know where people really stand on issues. But when you have a partisan election, you kind of know where their core philosophy is and where their core beliefs are. And it allows those people to be able to kind of vet that out quicker and understand where they are, and then get to the idea of, especially for judicial candidates, how have they operated in the law? How have they operated their business? How are they for fiscal responsibility? And so I think that, yes, I still believe in the partisan politics. Is it a perfect system? No, but I think it's the best we have right now.
All right. My last question is got to do with perception and being a judge. Collin County courts have gotten a little bit of adverse publicity in the last couple of years on a few cases, a few real telling cases. And if you're elected as a judge, what can you do in your courtroom as a judge to assure the people that come into that courtroom, whether they even be the gallery, jurors, or principals in the case, that the business of that court is justice and that all people will be treated fairly?
I think it's important for someone to walk in the courtroom to know that the person on the bench isn't just there with the narrow blinders on of trying to get the case through, and just, see it as a case. I think they need to see them as a person so that the law can be impartial to them and that the judge can understand their situation. However, the law does need to be applied as it was written, and we all have that term of judicial activism on the court. However, while no judge wants to be a judicial activist, and I won't be, we also want that person to know that that judge isn't going to be narrow. I think it's one of the reasons I ran for this race was because I think too often we have people that think they should just be on the bench because they've been an attorney for umpteen years. And I think there's a need for judges that can relate to the people when they come into the courtroom, because they're nervous. A lot of times people haven't been in a courtroom before, and they want to walk in and they want to know that judge is not just going to be able to apply the law as it needs to be applied, but they're going to understand their situation. And I truly have a unique perspective on that. I haven't been an attorney for umpteen years, but I've been an attorney a long time. I've got the experience in civil law. I've got the experience in criminal law. I've got the experience in laws that aren't going to be seen in this courtroom, and I've got it from a broad perspective. I also have the experience outside the legal arena. And so the people can understand, will be able to feel comfortable that when they walk in there, they're going to have somebody that knows the law, but also knows them and knows their situation as a person.
Thank you. Well, you've made it through the first round of the election. the runoffs, the early voting starts Monday. And good luck to you, and good luck in your campaign. Thank you very much.
Appreciate the time.